Well, hi. This morning I'm here with Robert Craven, who I've known for probably more years than I care to remember. It's got to be about 10 years or so now, and I've seen Robert speak many times, and he helps small businesses and larger businesses and corporations with their marketing. And we were just chatting, and he's of the somewhat controversial opinion, perhaps, that most businesses' marketing, to quote, is boring. So, Robert, would you like to come and defend that position to our listeners, please?
Hi there. I've got anything to defend, actually. I think the world, if you look at you and your business, your competitors, are competing using the same tired taglines, using the same people, employing the same people, the same qualifications, using the same software and the same hardware to essentially sell the same sort of products to the same sort of people using websites that essentially look the same. Everything out there is kind of beige and dull and uninteresting. And from the consumer, from the customer's point of view, it's kind of like everything looks the same, and it is just this utter dullness and beigeness that is thoroughly uninspiring.
Okay, well, I take your point, perhaps, but what can we do about it? I'm not a marketing expert, and many people that run companies are not marketing experts. How can we change that magnolia obsession then that we seem to have?
Well, I think part of it is obviously kind of about passion. I think one of the things that happens is that when we do marketing, we go and we have lots of creatives, whether they're in marketing agencies or in independent businesses. They start off really quite well intentioned, but one of the things that happens is that if you want to be risky or not risky, they tend to play it safe. If they then have their marketing work go in front of committees, they then look at different ways of making sure it appeals to everyone. And they kind of lose the plot that marketing isn't about interruption. It isn't about you're watching television, here I am, buy my software, buy my soap, is it? It's actually about engagement and involvement. And engagement is about a conversation. And the conversation is about, if I'm the punter, the customer, the client, it's about me feeling that you're actually talking to me. And then what actually happens is the very reverse of that, is that we get this long copy, and I know there are plenty of people out there who are great fans of a long copy, these very long email letters and so on and so forth. At the end of the day...
You're talking about the long sales letter, sort of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, and at the end of the day...
at
the end of the day, you've got to test what works best for your customers, so I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But very often we get this overweighty benefit, buy from me, benefit, buy from me. And yet I would argue that most of our clients and customers are relatively grown up. They kind of know what they want, and therefore what they want is to be told, what will this do for me? Is it right for me? How do I buy it? Whereas we often treat our clients as if they're just fodder for our business, and I think that's entirely the wrong way. That lack of respect is the wrong way of going about it.
So how should we adopt a different approach then? Are you saying that we should change our tone of voice and talk on a sort of more one-to-one basis, like we talk to people, down the pub or in everyday life, or is there a different technique that we need to learn that has escaped everybody so far?
I'd kind of like to go back a couple of stages, a couple of steps in the conversation, and then what I'm going to say will make a bit more sense.
Okay.
I think the first thing is, and we talk about this in my Grow Your Service firm, but the first thing is, question how many of us provide an above-average customer experience. Really interesting. McKinsey did a piece of research with accountants, 362. 362 accountants, put your hands up if you think you deliver an above-average experience. 80% of the accountants put their hands up and they say we deliver above-average customer experience. Brilliant. They then go to the next room where they have the clients of the same 362 firms. And they say, tell us, how many of you think your accountant delivers an above-average customer experience? Only 8% of hands goes up. Now, this delivery gap, 80%, and I would argue it's true for any business, 80% of us think we deliver an above-average customer experience. Only 8% of customers believe it. Is a gap which kind of is everywhere. We think we're doing really well, but we're not. So now we can put in some great questions. One, what really hacks off our customers? Paying too soon, paying too late, not being invoiced, not being delivered late, delivered in parts. Because whatever that is what we shouldn't be doing. Why can't we sell more stuff? Everyone always thinks it's about price, yeah? And yet all the research which is now coming out says it's not about price. In fact, IPA, the Institute, their research says that only 10% of people actually buy on price. 10% of people is a huge piece of research. Only 10% of people are actually buying on price. In other words, everyone else is buying on other stuff. 85% of people said that they would pay more for a better customer experience. So it's about that engagement. So we have a situation where we don't really understand our customers. We think they're buying on price, they're not. We then have what I call lazy marketing, where we spend all our time talking about Twitter versus Facebook versus LinkedIn and on all this kind of... We talk about channels, but what we don't talk enough about, is the product right for which people, why should they buy from us? We need to flip that and spend more time talking about marketing. Because the reality is, as we all know, advertising doesn't work, reducing return on investment, it's just, shouting doesn't work. So what we need to do is find ways which do engage people, but not this shouty route, which I call disruptive marketing.
Sort of look at me, we do this, we do that. It's not about what we do, it's what we do for them, sort of thing, or how we can help them.
People buy after. So it's about understanding what people's problems are and showing them how you can do it. Now, there's lots of ways you can do it. When everyone's zigging that you can zag, Pay What You Want is a great example where you get the client to choose what they want. Or alternatively, 20% of proceeds goes to charity. That's another great way. Or actually being awesome at what you do rather than beige, by actually doing what you do, full on 100%. Or doing crazy stuff like viral videos, like BlendTech, or delivering the most expensive loaf of bread or bread online. There's lots of ways of being different. There's a lovely book called Trust, and it's in all hotel rooms in a hotel I was at. It's got a label on it, and it says, this book's called Trust, and then it says, take it, we trust you to pay for this, and it gives you a website address. So you take the book,
never seen that.
And then you take the book, then you feel guilty, and then you pay them. And there are just ways of disrupting how we talk to people, disrupting how something's presented. TED Talks is another example. The normal way of doing conferences, everyone pays 200 quid, 500 quid. This one you pay $7,000, but you can get it online if you want. And it's kind of doing those kinds of things. So it's about, in some senses, it's a clarion call for traditional, back-to-basics marketing. But at the root of really great marketing is still some fundamentals. So let me just give you, there is a way of marketing that actually makes stuff work. And it's one, stating what your overt business benefit is. If you state your overt business benefit, in other words, people who buy from us see their profit increase by 30% in the 6-month period, or whatever it is, you increase the probability of success from 13% to 38% in your marketing material. So by putting in an overt business benefit, a good overt business benefit, you triple the likelihood of success against not having an overt business benefit.
That's amazing, and I bet many people don't even think about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Second one is, what is the real reason to believe that you can deliver? Again, it nearly triples your likelihood of success if you can put down a real reason to believe that you can deliver. You're the first, you're the only, you're the one with the technology, payment on results, whatever it is. And the final one is stating a dramatic difference. We're the only one in the UK, and so on and so forth. If you actually combine those three, what is the overt business benefit, the real reason to believe we can deliver, and the dramatic difference, then you get a really compelling proposition. If you then offer that proposition in a different way from other people, not gimmicks, but by actually understanding what people want and giving it to them, then you have a dynamite way of actually making stuff happen. You actually, not only do you disrupt because you're different from the rest, but you stand out, and that gives you the bigger opportunity to actually communicate and share with your customer base.
And by doing those three things right, what you're getting here is a leverage effect, which is much better than doing any one of those single things right. There is definitely a combined effect of the rule of three, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the in some senses, the first half of the conversation is a commentary on blandness, but the second piece is, once you've figured out how not to be bland by actually giving people what they individually really want, by actually resonating with them, when you hit the message with that threefold piece, of what's your overt business benefit, real reason to believe you can deliver, and dramatic difference. Yes, it's not just a Venn diagram where you mark up the little bit in the middle. It's like 1 + 1 + 1 = 10.
Yeah, and, that's amazing.
And there's been research done in the States using those three messages. 4,000 advertising messages were pursued and examined, and you can actually start predicting whether an advert's going to succeed on the strength of those three parameters.
Well, Robert, believe it or not, we've been on the phone now for well over 10 minutes, and we said when we started that we would try and keep it to 10 minutes, because I know I'm certainly intrigued. We could go on for an hour, couldn't we, quite easily doing this? But yeah, we perhaps shouldn't, because the promise that I make to people is that it's going to be a short video or phone interview. But we can't leave people hanging. I'd like to give you the opportunity just to tell people how they can get more information and engage with you further. So this would be great if you can tell us how they can contact you, and links, and how to get hold of you, Robert. Cause this is great.
Well, the easiest way is at the website. The website is robert-craven.com. So robert-craven.com, and you can get me by email. RC, standing for Robert Craven, RC @robert-craven.com. And, I would love to speak to people, love to share ideas with people, and love to engage.
Well, that's brilliant. And I'll make sure that below the video we stick those in text so that people can click on them and engage with you. Robert, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to say goodbye for the time being, because we're well out of time. I think you've shared some amazing content, and there's clearly plenty more to talk about, and I look forward to talking to you again in a different forum. And I'd encourage people strongly to go and check out your links and your books and everything else. You've been an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you.